Success is not a product of luck, nor is it gifted to the fortunate few. It is the result of precise and deliberate choices consistently made by those who refuse to surrender to circumstance. The individual who waits for a stroke of fortune waits in vain. Life does not reward wishful thinking. It honors action, clarity, and purpose. Every man or woman who has climbed from obscurity to achievement has done so by first recognizing this simple truth. Success is built, not bestowed. Every great fortune, every monumental success began with a single choice, the choice to take responsibility. When a person assumes full control over their thoughts, decisions, and actions, they cross a line from passivity into power. They no longer blame the other people or timing. They do not hope for change. They become the cause of change. This shift in thinking marks the beginning of mastery over one's own life. There are two types of people in this world: those who wait to see what life hands them, and those who reach out and claim what they desire through clear decisions and persistent effort. The former will always be at the mercy of external conditions, drifting like a ship without a rudder. The latter holds the wheel firmly and charts a course. Though storms may arise, they steer forward, for they have made a decision that no wind, no wave can alter. The individual who achieves greatness starts with a clear picture in their mind of what they desire. This definiteness of purpose acts like a magnet, drawing the necessary people, ideas, and resources into their orbit. But that magnetic force is only activated through choice, through a mental commitment to pursue the goal regardless of obstacles. This is where most falter. They believe that success should come easily or not at all. But those who rise understand that the cost of success is paid in decisions made daily. The decision to persist, to focus, to sacrifice, to learn, to adapt, and to believe when all evidence might say otherwise. It is far easier to leave life to chance. To say, I wasn't born with the right connections, or I don't have the resources, is to excuse oneself from effort. But history is filled with those who had nothing but chose to act as if they had everything. They did not wait for conditions to be right. They made them right. The conditions followed the decision, not the other way around. One must understand this principle clearly. The mind is the master key. What you choose to think, to dwell upon, and to act upon becomes your life. Thought precedes action, and action builds destiny. A man does not become wealthy, wise, or powerful by accident. He becomes so by thinking thoughts that build wealth, by choosing actions that cultivate wisdom, and by making decisions that lead to power. Success is not an accident. It is a series of choices made with conviction, made consistently, and made without retreat. The most valuable possession any individual holds is not money, land, or titles. It is the mind. Everything that exists in the world, the tallest skyscrapers, the most powerful empires, the greatest fortunes, began first as a thought in someone's mind. Your mind is the original workshop of all creation, the one tool that cannot be taken from you unless you surrender it by your own inaction or neglect. It is the seat of power, the origin of wealth, and the root of all advancement. The mind is not merely a receiver of information. It is a transmitter, a generator, and a transformer. It takes invisible thoughts and molds them into visible realities. It takes dreams and converts them into structures. It takes desire and converts it into movement. Whatever you plant in the soil of the mind, whether it be fear or faith, doubt or determination, will grow and shape the landscape of your life. Most people misuse this power by thinking in terms of limitations. They let fear dominate their mental space and wonder why their circumstances remain the same. The individual who understands the true nature of the mind recognizes that it must be governed with discipline and purpose, or it will default to chaos and mediocrity. Every great achievement is first achieved in the mind. It must be seen there, believed there, felt there, before it can ever materialize in the physical world. A man who cannot see abundance in his mind will never hold it in his hands. A woman who cannot feel confidence in her heart will never lead others. The mind must be trained to dwell only on that which uplifts, strengthens, and builds. It must be fed daily with clear purpose, powerful vision, and unshakable belief. Left untended, it becomes like a field overgrown with weeds. Doubt, distraction, indecision, and fear. But the mind, once focused, is limitless. It has no boundaries except those the individual accepts. There is no problem too great, no obstacle too high that a properly conditioned mind cannot overcome. The person who decides to master their mind, to govern their thoughts, to direct their focus with precision, becomes unstoppable. They move forward while others hesitate. They see opportunity where others see danger. They create while others complain. The mind is not passive. It is an engine. It will go in any direction you command it to go, but it must be commanded. The individual who lets the outside world dictate their thoughts is a slave to circumstance, but the one who chooses their thoughts deliberately becomes the master of circumstance. When you understand that you alone are responsible for what occupies your mind, you understand the true meaning of personal power, the ability to think clearly, to concentrate deeply, to visualize vividly, and to believe fully. These are the faculties that separate those who merely exist from those who rise to greatness. Every man who has ever accomplished anything of lasting value began with a clear and unwavering purpose. Without it, energy is wasted, effort is scattered, and life becomes a series of reactions instead of deliberate actions. Definiteness of purpose is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is the root from which all achievement grows. A man without purpose is like a ship without a rudder, tossed by the winds of distraction, fear, and the opinions of others. To know exactly what one wants, and to commit the mind entirely to its attainment, is the first great step toward success. Purpose gives direction to thought. It transforms ordinary ambition into focused drive. It brings order to chaos, clarity to confusion, and strength to weakness. When the mind is fixed on a definite objective, it ceases to entertain thoughts of failure, of retreat, or of compromise. It becomes single-minded, and that single-mindedness becomes a force too powerful to be denied. Most people never reach their potential not because they lack intelligence or opportunity, but because they never make a decision about what they truly want. They drift. They wait. They react. They may desire success, but desire alone is not enough. The desire must be made definite. The goal must be named, written, declared, and once it is made definite, the whole of life must be brought into alignment with it. Thoughts, actions, associations, habits, all must be made to serve the purpose. Definiteness of purpose turns the invisible into the inevitable. It draws to you people, circumstances, and ideas in harmony with your aim. When your goal is vague, your results are uncertain. But when your goal is exact, the universe moves to respond with precision. The person with a clear purpose becomes magnetic. Others sense the conviction, the clarity, the fire behind their eyes. Doors open for the man who knows where he is going, because even obstacles begin to respect the purpose gives rise to persistence. And persistence is the steel that cuts through opposition. It is not talent alone that shapes destiny. It is purpose driven by unrelenting action. A man may have skill, knowledge, and resources, but without purpose, those assets are dormant. They only awaken when called into service by a cause greater than comfort or convenience. Purpose gives meaning to suffering, courage to struggle, and dignity to discipline. It gives the individual a reason to rise, to press forward, to endure what others cannot endure. It is the invisible fuel that keeps the fire burning when the rewards are not yet visible. And the clearer the purpose, the stronger the fire. The world steps aside for the one who knows where they are going and refuses to be stopped by doubt, delay, or distraction. The battle is won first in the heart and in the mind, and that victory begins the moment purpose becomes definite. Every individual is presented, each day with a silent choice, the path of discipline or the path of ease. One leads to strength, growth, and mastery. The other leads to regret, mediocrity, and missed opportunity. Discipline is the price of freedom. Ease is the path to bondage disguised as comfort. Those who achieve anything of lasting value have learned, not once but daily, to reject the fleeting temptation of ease and instead embrace the enduring reward of discipline. Discipline is doing what must be done, whether or not the mood agrees. It is rising early when the body craves more sleep. It is saying no to distractions when the mind seeks escape. It is following through on a promise to oneself long after the emotion that made the promise has faded. The masses do what is easy. The successful do what is required. This is the fundamental difference between those who lead and those who follow, those who build and those who beg. The truth is harsh but liberating. Every excuse is a lie clothed in comfort. The person who claims they cannot find time, cannot stay consistent, cannot break a habit, they are simply choosing ease over effort. There is no mystery to success. There is only effort, repeated with intention, under the direction of a definite aim. Discipline is the bridge between vision and reality. Without it, dreams remain suspended in the clouds. With it, even the impossible becomes inevitable. To choose discipline is to choose power. It is to train the will like a muscle, to sharpen the mind like a blade. Each act of discipline, no matter how small, compounds over time. Reading 10 pages a day, rising 30 minutes earlier, resisting a single temptation. These are not meaningless acts. They are the laying of bricks that will become an unshakable foundation. They are acts of self-respect. They are the evidence that one values their future more than their feelings in the moment. Ease is seductive. It whispers false comfort, promising rest without the need for effort. But behind ease is a trap, a life dictated by mood, ruled by weakness, driven by short-term relief at the expense of long-term reward. Discipline, on the other hand, demands sacrifice up front. It feels uncomfortable, sometimes even painful. But what it yields is not just results, it yields character. It yields pride. It yields a life that belongs to you because you built it brick by brick through your own will. The disciplined man does not look for motivation. He relies on decision. He does not wait for the right mood. He acts because it is necessary. He trains the mind to serve, not to sabotage. He understands that to conquer anything in the external world, he must first conquer himself. And that conquest begins and ends with the choices he makes each day. To do what is right over what is easy, to take control instead of giving it away, to move forward even when comfort begs him to stop. A man's environment is not neutral. It either lifts him or drags him. It feeds his ambition or starves it. The people with whom you choose to associate form the unseen blueprint of your future. They influence your thoughts, shape your standards, and, over time, steer your destiny. You do not rise above the company you keep, you become it. To neglect this truth is to sabotage your own progress without ever realizing the cause. The mind absorbs the words, emotions, and expectations of those it spends time around. If you surround yourself with small thinkers, you will begin to shrink your own vision to match theirs. If you listen to those who complain, doubt, or excuse failure, you will begin to adopt the same language, not consciously, but gradually, quietly, and dangerously. Association is the most subtle form of conditioning. You may not even notice the effect until the fire in you has dimmed, your standards have lowered, and you find yourself living a life you never wanted simply because it matched those around you. On the other hand, when you place yourself in the company of those who strive for more, who speak with clarity, who take responsibility, and who think in terms of growth, your entire internal world begins to shift. Their presence becomes a challenge. Their habits become a mirror. Their mindset becomes a model. You begin to expect more from yourself, not because someone told you to, but because greatness becomes the norm. This is the power of environment. It raises your internal thermostat without force. Your closest circle either accelerates your evolution or anchors you to your limitations. There is no neutrality. You must guard your inner circle like you would guard a treasure chest. Every voice that speaks into your life either builds your faith or breeds your fear or breeds your fear. Every conversation either feeds your purpose or distracts you from it. Every relationship either brings you closer to your highest self or pulls you away in the name of comfort, nostalgia, or convenience. Most people remain loyal to relationships that keep them small. They fear being judged for growing. They fear leaving others behind. But you cannot soar while holding hands with those who refuse to leave the ground. Growth demands separation. It does not mean you must hate. It means you must choose your future over your past. You must align your associations with your aspirations. And when you do, you begin to attract those who are moving in the same direction. You begin to build a circle of influence where iron sharpens iron, where excellence is expected, and where mediocrity has no room to breathe. The man who walks with the wise becomes wise. The woman who surrounds herself with courage becomes courageous. This is not theory. It is law. Your mind mirrors your environment, and your environment is made of people. If you want to predict your future, look at the conversations you're having, the beliefs you're absorbing, the habits you're normalizing, and the energy you're tolerating. There is no such thing as failure unless one accepts it as final. Every setback, every defeat, every disappointment carries within it a hidden gift, an opportunity, a lesson, a redirection. Life does not hand out challenges without cause. It does not present obstacles without reason. Embedded in every difficulty is the seed of growth, the spark of transformation, the raw material of a greater outcome. But only those who look beyond the surface will ever find it. Most people recoil when they face resistance. They see a setback as a signal to stop, to shrink, or to surrender. They misinterpret difficulty as a sign that the goal is out of reach. But the truth is, adversity is often a test to determine who is worthy of the reward. It is nature's way of separating the committed from the casual. Those who persist, those who dig deep, those who refuse to be broken, these are the ones who discover that the very thing meant to destroy them became the foundation of their strength. A temporary defeat is not a failure. It is a teacher. It reveals what must be corrected, what must be refined, what must be fortified. It strips away illusion and demands truth. It sharpens the mind, disciplines the emotions, and strengthens the will. Those who succeed in any field will tell you plainly, their greatest growth came not during times of ease, but through seasons of struggle. The pain of the moment became the price of their progress. The loss became the lesson that opened the door to victory. But the advantage within a setback does not reveal itself to everyone. It only appears to the one who searches for it. The one who asks, what can I learn? How can I grow? What can I do differently next time? This individual transforms adversity into fuel. He does not waste pain. He does not curse the process. He studies it. He finds the meaning within it. And once he sees it clearly, he uses it to rise higher than he would have without it. History is filled with stories of men and women who were broken, bankrupted, betrayed, or defeated. And more determined, the setback was not the end of the story, it was the turning point. Had they not endured the loss, they would not have developed the resilience that carried them forward. The very thing they thought would ruin them became the thing that refined them. This is not optimism. It is law. The mind that is trained to extract value from difficulty becomes unstoppable. To the weak, a setback is punishment. To the strong, it is preparation. It is a hidden advantage that forces one to become more than they were. It demands growth, and in that demand, it gives the greatest gift of all, transformation. When you stop seeing setbacks as permanent and start viewing them as instruction, you change the entire trajectory of your journey. Seed is always there, waiting to be cultivated, waiting to be turned into something greater than what was lost.